A rare designer handbag went missing during an auction. It was last seen in the front row, near three glamorous ladies. They're all accusing each other. Can you figure out who stole the handbag? It was the redhead. She hid the handbag under her dog, hoping everyone would think it was just part of the dog's outfit. But do you see something shiny on the pup's fur? It's the handbag strap. A famous chemist disappeared right from his laboratory. Police are certain that one of the scientist's three colleagues is involved in this case. The suspects are Felice, Thomas, and Nathan. The only clue is a note left by the chemist. What was he trying to say? We've got a hint for you: the periodic table of elements. So, who is guilty? Let's decode the numbers using the periodic table. 26 is Fe for iron, 3 is Li for lithium, and 58 is Ce for cerium. So, the person who knows something about the scientist's disappearance is Felice. Look at these four people in a grocery store. Can you figure out who is going to steal a watermelon? It's the man with a basketball. It looks like he's holding something heavy. It must be the watermelon disguised as a basketball. A man returns to his apartment after a long day at work. As he walks in, nothing seems to be out of place until he tries to enter his home office. The door is locked from the inside. The man calmly walks away but calls the police on the way. Why? He always leaves his home office door open since he lives alone. He doesn't lock it, especially not from the inside. So, the only explanation is that someone's hiding in there. Detective Davis is investigating a complicated case and decides to question one of the suspects. The man claims he was busy on the day when the crime happened. He says he spent 4 hours at the barber. Detective Davis detains the man. Why? Well, who spends 4 hours at the barber? Plus, look at him. He still has a full beard, not even trimmed, and his hair is messy and unstyled. This guy's clearly lying. Look at this picture very attentively and try to figure out which of these people is Lynn. It's the guy working on a computer. Take a look at the password he uses. His name must be Lynn. Next picture. Examine it carefully and try to spot the thief. The thief is hiding in the bushes. Right now, they're going after that woman's phone. And the ultimate test of how attentive you are. Try to figure out what's wrong in the following image. There's no way anyone can wear those blue shoes. They are both left ones. George was going to propose to his girlfriend. He invited his friends to a cafe to show them the engagement ring he had prepared. Once he opened the box and placed it on the table, the lights went off. When it got light again, the ring was gone. Look at George's friends and try to figure out which of them took the ring. It was Miranda. Have you noticed that at the beginning of the meeting, she wasn't wearing gloves? She must be hiding something. Look at these women attentively. Which one seems suspicious? It's the one on the right. The woman on the left has probably cut her finger and might be calling someone to ask for help. As for the woman on the right, she's holding a pie with a finger sticking out of it. Ooh, that's super creepy. Look at these teachers attentively. One of them is an imposter. Can you figure out which teacher is fake? It's the teacher on the left. If you take a closer look, you'll see that she's using lipstick to write the answers on the board. To get into a password-locked room, Detective Martin had to crack this riddle. A man went around the world in a ship, and still he was always in sight of land. How is it possible? Can you help the detective figure it out? The man was in a spaceship orbiting Earth. Hannah's sister Diana visited her on Saturday. Right after lunch, Diana felt unwell and lost consciousness. Hannah called an ambulance, and doctors barely had enough time to save Diana's life. The woman had been poisoned. The police came to Hannah and asked her a couple of questions. It turned out that the sisters had eaten the same food, chicken and salad. After examining the dishes, the police officers arrested Hannah for trying to poison her sister. But how did she do it? The poison was in the bottle with the salad dressing. Hannah avoided it, while Diana generously poured it over her salad. Brian was walking along the street when a bucket of red paint fell on him. He managed to catch 3 street artists. Lucas said he didn't want problems, so he was always very careful. Nicholas said that he had just returned after meeting his good friend. Damien said he never threw things at people. Who's responsible for Brian's spoiled day? Lucas uses spray paints, so he isn't the culprit. Nicholas uses paints, but he doesn't have the red color. The culprit must be Damien. His brush has some remains of red paint, but there's no bucket with red paint among his supplies. Look at these 2 ladies. They both seem to be wealthy, but only one of them actually is. Can you figure out who's fake rich? It's the girl on the left. She's taking a photo with a luxury car in the background. But there's someone in the driver's seat, and this person looks rather shocked. Now, how about cracking some rebus riddles? Here's the first one for you. That's high five. The next one. What's this? That's how you greet people. Good afternoon. And one more. What does it mean? It's no biggie. Get it? No big E? Yeah. A foreign tourist came to a police station. He claimed that a guy with a tattoo on his right hand and a long beard had forced him to give him his wallet. The police officer told him that the criminal was one of the quintuplets the police had already detained. The tourist just had to identify the one who had attacked him. Look at these men. Can you help the tourist figure out who the attacker was? Not this guy. He has a tattoo on his left hand. Not this one. He can only use one hand. This guy has a short beard. This guy is wearing a cast, which leaves us with this man. Detective Thomas and his friends went camping. At one point, he went to pick up firewood. When he got back, he saw one of his friends, Alice, lying on the ground unconscious. There were 3 other people in the camp: Julie, Alice's friend, Mary, Alice's sister, and Adam, Alice's boyfriend. Thomas asked all of them to show him their belongings. Look at what they had and try to figure out who has something to do with the state Alice is in. It's Julie. If you look attentively, you'll notice a picture of Adam among her things. She must have a crush on him. She likely hurt Alice out of jealousy. There are 3 customers in the store. A woman with allergies is looking for food that is safe for her. A man is looking for water and explains he's super thirsty after a long run. A girl is shopping for cat food and says she's in a rush because her cat is waiting. Security notices that the most expensive chocolates are missing. Who took them? The guy with the big shopping bag says he's looking for water, although he has a bag full of groceries. It must be him. At a fusion restaurant, it's time for the show Craziest Dish of the Week. Chef Akira brings out bright blue noodles with a hint of lime. Chef Carla presents a bowl of bright red noodles. Chef Mario brings a plate of regular noodles, but with wriggling octopus tentacles sticking out. One of these dishes could be dangerous if not prepared by a professional chef. Which one? Now, some types of octopus can be toxic if not prepared correctly, so it's the 3rd dish. Food coloring is safe to eat, for the most part. At a store exit, a security guard notices someone is wearing brand new sneakers from the display. There are 3 suspects. A girl in flip-flops says she was looking at jackets, not shoes. A guy in sneakers explained that he had been wearing these sneakers since spring and offered the guard to smell them. The woman said the stolen sneakers weren't even her size. Who seems suspicious? The guy is over-explaining because he is obviously nervous. He must have stolen the sneakers. 3 DIY bloggers are streaming live from a hardware store. The first one is looking for tile adhesive to stop the tiles in the bathroom from sliding. The second one needs caulk to seal the joints. The third one is looking for painter's tape to stick the tiles so they hold. Who's pretending to be a DIY expert but clearly doesn't understand how materials work? Painter's tape doesn't hold tiles, and a DIY expert would know this. So this girl is lying. 3 girls are trying on wedding dresses. The first one loves the one that highlights her collarbones. Her fiancé is into them. The second one is planning a beach wedding, so she needs a light corset-free dress. The third one only cares about finding comfortable sneakers to match the dress. Which of them isn't a real bride, but just came by here to try on dresses? The first girl doesn't have an engagement ring, and she definitely doesn't look bridal. 3 pregnant women are waiting in the checkout line. The cashier notices a slight twitch in one woman's dress, like something inside just shifted. He suspects that the woman isn't actually pregnant and is hiding groceries under her dress. Which one is it? No pregnant woman would stand in line wearing high heels with no support, so she definitely has something to hide. There were 6 bottles of lemonade in the fridge. The first customer took 2. The second took half of what was left. The third took 1 more bottle. How many are left? They started with 6, so 4 bottles were left after the first customer. The second took 2, which is half of 4. So after the third one took 1 bottle, there was just 1 bottle left. Lisa got a job as a dog sitter. The dog owners told her pets each stick to their diet, but they forgot to tell her who eats beef, who prefers chicken, and who sticks to pork. The food is already in the bowls. How can Lisa figure it out without calling the owners? The collars and the bowls are color-coded, so the dog with the blue collar must eat from the blue bowl. The pink collar gets the pink bowl, and the green one gets, well, you can figure it out. Nancy has a talent for drawing, and her friends always ask her to make birthday cards for them and their families. This time, she painted a beautiful flower with greetings, and she just needs to cut it out. When her friend brings her the scissors, Nancy says she can't do it, and the friend has to finish it herself. Why? Nancy is left-handed, so if she uses right-handed scissors, she can mess up the whole card. Susan had a huge birthday party. Her husband gave her a luxury necklace, but by the end of the party, the necklace was gone. Anyone could have taken it. Do you have any guesses who did it? The waiter did it. Check out this empty glass bottle. The necklace is inside. Mrs. Spikes had to fly to a different city for work for just one day. When she came back, the house was a mess. She got really mad at her teenage son for doing this, but he claimed he had no idea how it happened. He was just sleeping all day after a night of playing video games. Was he lying? The guy wasn't lying. Look at the TV screen. There was a slight earthquake in the area that day. He must be a heavy sleeper. Jake is on a long flight from Los Angeles to Tokyo, and he's got a really chatty neighbor. The woman just won't stop talking, and he wants to rest a bit. He calls the flight attendant and asks her to let him switch seats since there are many empty ones. The flight attendant checks the IDs of both passengers and just laughs. Why? The woman is Jake's own wife. Uh-oh. Kyle, Sue, Mike, and Anna were on the train. Without warning, the lights went out. When they switched on again, Anna was missing. All that was left of her was her phone and one of her earrings. Kyle said he was in the other part of the car when the lights went out. Sue said she was sleeping at the time. Mike was reading a book and didn't see anything. Well, who's lying? It's Mike. He couldn't be reading if the lights went out. Students knew they would have an exam on Monday, but their professor refused to tell them the exact time. Every time they asked, he answered with a riddle. If 11 plus 2 equals 1, 10 plus 6 equals 4. Can you guess when the students should meet with their professor? At 4 p.m. 11 o'clock plus 2 hours is 1 p.m. Then 10 o'clock plus 6 hours is 4 p.m. You'll need to think outside the box to crack this one. 1 is to 3, as 3 is to 5, and 5 is to 4, and 4 is the magic number. Can you figure out the pattern? The word 1 has 3 letters, the word 3 has 5, and the word 5 consists of 4 letters. But the word 4 has 4 letters in it, and whatever number you try, eventually you'll come back to 4, and the game will end there. Steve was going home one night when a large cat jumped out of the bushes right in front of him. The animal had large fangs and sharp claws. It was about to pounce on Steve. The guy only had his phone, a handkerchief, and a bottle of water. And still, he came out of the situation unscathed. How did he escape from the cat? Well, cats aren't huge fans of water, so Steve just poured some water on the feline and it scared the animal away. You've got a sack filled with coffee beans. You need to use this coffee to completely fill 2 other sacks of the same size. How can you do it? Put one empty sack into the other and fill it with coffee. Simple. So on Liam's birthday, his grandpa showed him old bottles and said, "One of these has a treasure map inside. I found it when I was a teenager, but I never managed to open it." So, which bottle is the real one? Not this one. It's already open. And not this one either. The paper inside looks way too clean to have been sitting there for years. So the best answer is bottle number 1. Now Liam has a new problem. The bottle cap is made of cork, it's broken, and he doesn't have a corkscrew. So he checks his dad's toolbox. Which 2 tools can help him open the bottle? These 2. Here's the idea. He puts the screw into the cork, then he uses the back of the hammer to pull the screw and the cork right out. Awesome! Liam finally opens the bottle and this weird spooky smoke starts pouring out. Then, the ghost of an ancient pirate appears. He warns Liam that the treasure map is cursed and he has to break the spell. To do that, Liam has to say one magic word out loud. The pirate gives him this clue. So, what's the word? The word is mirrored. It reads umbrella. Well, Liam says umbrella out loud and, hey, it works! But then he pauses and thinks, is that a clue? Should I actually bring an umbrella with me? So he heads to a second-hand shop and he finds 4 options. Which umbrella should he take? Well, number 2 is broken, number 3 is torn, and number 4 really isn't an umbrella. It's a parasol. So even if it's a little dirty, number 1 is clearly the best choice. Now Liam can finally focus on the map. But there's an issue. Only one path leads to the treasure. So which one is it? A, B, C, or D? Yep, that's it. Liam sets off on his adventure. One night he stops at a campsite and tells 3 other travelers about the map. The next morning, the map is gone. Well, surprise, surprise. Adam says, I was sleeping in my tent. Daniel says, I heard a noise coming from Liam's tent. Oliver says, I slept outside. If anyone went into the tent, I would have noticed. So, who's lying? Well, let's see. Someone did go into the tent to steal the map. Daniel says he heard the noise. That makes sense. If Oliver was really outside the whole time, he should have heard something too. But he claims he didn't. So, Oliver is lying. Suddenly, a huge storm slams into the campsite. Liam opens his umbrella, but the wind yanks it right out of his hands. Now, lightning is striking all around. So, what should he do? Get inside his tent, lie down under a tree, or stay where he is and crouch on top of his backpack? Look closely. There are puddles under the tent. Water makes it more dangerous. And getting anywhere near a tree is a big no-no. Tall trees are more likely to get struck. The safest choice is to crouch low on top of his backpack. After the storm, something wild happens. 2 ancient Egyptian coffins get lifted up from the seabed. Each one has only one symbol on it. The first has a snake. The second has a black cat. But only one is safe to open. The other one brings bad luck. So, which one do they open? The snake is a bad sign, as this symbol was linked to chaos or darkness. The black cat might sound unlucky today, but in ancient Egypt, they were actually seen as protective. So that's the safe choice. They lift the lid, and a mummy sits up. Liam freezes. "Wait, how old are you?" And the mummy says, "My pyramid is 4,000 years old, and I'm 12 years older than that." Liam pauses and thinks that can't be true. But why? Well, if the mummy really had a pyramid, his coffin should have been found inside it, not down in the seabed. So the problem isn't the math, it's the claim. This mummy didn't have a pyramid at all. Liam tries to get back to his adventure, but the mummy just won't stop blocking his way. Finally, Liam snaps, "What do you want?" The mummy smiles and says, "If you say my name, I will disappear. What am I?" Liam says silence, and just like that, the mummy vanishes. Liam heads back to the campsite. Everyone is sitting around, listening to a traveler talk about his wild adventures around the world. At one point, the guy says, "I once went to Brazil and got lost in the Amazon rainforest. I survived for a whole week by eating pink dolphin eggs." Most people are impressed, but one guy doesn't believe him. Why? It's true that pink dolphins do live in the Amazon, but dolphins are mammals, and mammals don't lay eggs. So yeah, he was lying. Liam keeps walking on his journey and soon meets an old man. The old man looks very worried and asks for help. He says he had 22 goats. Half of them went out for a walk in the morning, but only 6 came back. So, how many goats are still missing? Five goats are still lost. Now, look closely at this scene. Can you find all 5 missing goats? There they are. The old man decides to travel with Liam and says he has a compass to help them. At one point, Liam asks, "So, which direction should we go?" The old man answers, 840. But that doesn't make sense at all. Can you figure out what's going on? The old man made a mistake. He brought a pocket watch, not a compass. Now they are completely lost in the forest. The old man tells Liam not to worry because he can use the stars to find the way. Night is coming, and they know they need to go east. What should they do? So, animal tracks don't necessarily lead east. The stars could help, but there are too many clouds in the sky. The best choice is option 3. Look for shelter. That way, they can wait for sunrise, then use the sun to guide them east. They're looking for shelter when they find an old house. Inside, there is a creepy lady who offers them something to drink. Liam is very thirsty, but the old man warns him, "Be careful, she's known for poisoning drinks." The lady puts 5 glasses in front of Liam, each with a different color. Liam believes one drink is safe. Can you guess which one he chooses? Look out the window. There's an orange tree outside. So Liam chooses the orange juice, thinking it must be natural. Well, turns out Liam was wrong. In fact, all the drinks were dangerous. After drinking the orange juice, he suddenly faints. The old man takes a chance and runs away with the map. When Liam wakes up, he runs after him. Can you tell which path the old man took? Ah, this one. You can see the footprints, but also marks from the old man's cane. Liam gets his map back and finally reaches his destination. Now it's time to dig up the big treasure. But where is the chest hidden? There are 3 possible spots. Which one makes the most sense? This pile is way too tall. If someone wanted to hide treasure, they wouldn't make it that obvious. This one has a huge rock on top. There's no way someone dragged that rock there just to cover a chest. So the treasure must be here. Yeah, it's covered in grass, but it's been a long time and plants have grown over it. When he finally digs up the treasure, oh boy, there's a lock with a secret code. Luckily, he finds a note nearby. It says, "Divide into 3 groups," and then shows a bunch of random letters. So, can you crack the 3-number code? Well, divide the letters into 3 groups, and you will see the words 9, 4, and 5. That's the code. Perfect. Liam opens the treasure, but when he looks inside, oops, there's nothing there. Well, looks like someone got there first. Sorry, Liam. One particular day, I think it was a Monday, turned out to be the most bizarre and hectic for Dr. Victor Hayes, an experienced physician working in a private hospital. One of his patients tried to sneak out of the hospital. Victor found only 3 pairs of abandoned slippers. To find the patient, he needed to figure out which pair belonged to them. Can you help him? It seems that no one has worn the white pair. The mud marks on the blue slippers mean that the person left but may have returned. The gray slippers appear to have a small white stain, which is actually a piece of cotton that came loose while the person was running. This is the pair of the escaped patient. At one point during the day, Victor noticed something seriously wrong. A patient had been transferred in an emergency, but the original medical record had disappeared. There are 3 folders on the ward counter, all without a name. Take a look at them. Which one is the missing file? The red folder seems to have been used by someone absent-mindedly in the kitchen. The blue one shows definite signs of neglect. It means the green folder is the one the doctor needs. During his lunch break, Victor dropped by a 24-hour pharmacy. 3 people were waiting in line at the counter. He noticed that one of them was pretending to be a patient in order to buy a restricted medication. Can you figure out who was faking it? The woman seems to be disguising her identity, but she may just be sensitive to light. The man in flip-flops may have had an accident at home. The young man coughs, but he is interested in eye drops. This medicine doesn't correspond to his symptoms, so he is the one faking it. After lunch, our doctor realized that he had left his notes in the car, so he went to the parking lot. There, he saw 3 cars parked side by side, but one of them had its silent alarm activated, signaling an attempted break-in. Look at them attentively and say which car has been tampered with. The SUV may be flashing because it's just been locked. The sedan has its mirror out of place. It might be a sign of an attempted break-in. But the blue car has a clearer sign. One of the wipers is raised and is missing a wiper blade, which must have been stolen. Victor entered the hospital elevator but noticed a strong odor of medicine. He suspected that someone was stealing expired medicines from the lab. There were 3 people in the elevator. Can you figure out who's carrying the medicines? The nurse might be carrying personal items. The delivery man is carrying something sealed. It could be a regular delivery. But the lady with the bag looks out of place, and the heat inside the elevator makes the smell spread. It's a thermal bag. See that gray aluminum lining? She is carrying the expired medicines. Victor's friend Lucas hurt his knee, and our doctor told him to stay home, and he prohibited him from getting up from his bed. Then Victor had to go back to the hospital. He promised to visit Lucas in the evening. When he arrived, he immediately realized that Lucas had actually gotten up. How did he understand this? Lucas has moved his bedside lamp from the desk to his nightstand and plugged it in. A patient was rushed to the ER with poisoning. Victor suspected that the poison could have been in the medicine the patient had taken. But the only people who had access to the patient's room were the nurse, the chef, and the janitor. The nurse said she had taken care of other patients at that time. The chef said he had been busy with dinner. And the janitor said he had only cleaned the hallway. Who is the culprit? It must be the nurse. The poison was in the medicine, and only the nurse handled it. Dr. Victor was asked to visit another patient. She claimed that she experienced severe headaches every night from 9 p.m. sharp. The hospital staff was baffled because nothing unusual happened at that time. Can you help Victor understand what causes the headaches? The reason is the noise and vibration from the maintenance machine. David woke up in a hospital with no memories whatsoever. Soon, 3 girls rushed into his room. Each of them claimed to be his only sister. David couldn't figure out which of the ladies was telling the truth and asked Dr. Victor for help. Which girl is the guy's real relative? David's real sister is the girl in the middle. Look, they both have identical birthmarks on their hands. A hospital's emergency alarm went off in the middle of the night, but there was no emergency. That's why Victor suspected sabotage. Only 3 staff members were on duty at that time: a night nurse, an intern, and a security guard. Now, the security guard said he had been patrolling the parking lot. The intern said he had been in the break room. And the night nurse said she had been checking on patients. Victor understood who was lying right away. Can you do the same? It was the intern. The alarm control panel is near the break room, and only someone close by could trigger it. Dr. Victor's patient complained that a creepy nurse had visited him at night. The figure didn't do anything, just stood in the corner watching him. But the hospital only had 2 night nurses, and both had alibis. Victor checked the CCTV footage and indeed saw a shadowy figure wearing a nurse uniform. Who was this culprit? It wasn't any of the hospital nurses. The intruder wasn't wearing a badge, so it was just someone disguised as a nurse. Victor's boss asked him to help with a complicated case. Apparently, a patient got an extra dose of medication and showed side effects. Only a nurse, the patient's doctor, and the pharmacist handled the medication that day. The nurse insisted she had given the right dose. The pharmacist said the labels were correct, and the doctor said he hadn't changed the prescription. Who most likely made the error? It was most likely the nurse, because she was the one administering the meds. Finally, Victor left the hospital after his 14-hour shift. Exhausted, he took the same road he always did to get home. But this time, he arrived at a gas station 10 miles in the wrong direction, without ever making a turn. He swore he followed his usual route. No GPS error, no detours, no road closures. And the car had no signs of tampering. How is it possible? Victor was so exhausted that he accidentally got into an identical car parked nearby, which belonged to someone else who lived in the opposite direction. Both cars used the same key fob model. The next day, Victor had several patients waiting for him. But he understood at once that one of them was just pretending to be sick. Which one was it? It's the guy with a cast on his right arm. His phone is in his right pocket. It'd be extremely uncomfortable to put it there with the left hand. It means his cast is fake. 3 pregnant ladies were waiting for the doctor, but one of them wasn't really expecting. Which one? It's the woman on the left. If we look closer, we'll notice a piece of a pillow sticking out from under her sweater. Now, look at this patient. He's come to Victor with a bad headache, but it seems something else is wrong with him. What is it? His left leg is green. You can see it between the edge of his pant leg and his sock. The day was getting more and more bizarre. This patient doesn't seem to be a regular one either. Why? She's got 6 fingers on her left hand and only 4 on the right one. But she can still count to 10.
Ryan opened his own private detective firm, but he needs your help with his toughest cases. The detective gets a call from a coffee shop. The customers are acting strangely, so the owner suspects a bitter employee might have poisoned them. But after analyzing the customers, Ryan believes it's just a false alarm. Why? This old man looks like he fainted, but his coffee cup is still full, so he's fine. Same with the student. And the woman? Her drink is empty, so if it had been poisoned, she would have collapsed already. The coffee shop owner feels relieved, but before Ryan leaves, he gives the detective one last challenge. He hands him this riddle. 12 apples hanging high. 12 men passing by. Each took an apple and left 11 hanging there. How can this be? Can you solve it? Well, each is actually a man's name. Now it makes sense, right? Ryan was walking when he heard a teen screaming. She was trapped in a fire. He immediately dropped his wallet, hat, and watch on the ground, then rushed inside to help her. When he came back, he knew someone had touched his things. But how did he know? Do you remember how he left his stuff? His wallet was on the left side, not on the right. Someone must have moved it. And he was right. He opened the wallet and saw that his money was gone. But there was a strange note inside with an enigma. I stay in the corner but travel around the world. What am I? Do you know the answer? Time's up. And the answer is a stamp. Right after, Ryan found 8 different stamps inside his wallet, and one of them reminded him of the place where he spent his honeymoon. He even remembered that he had to learn some basic Spanish words to go there. So, can you guess which stamp he's looking at? Correct, it's this one. This stamp is from Mexico, the only Spanish-speaking country here. Back at the office, a worried mom comes in with her twin daughters. They look exactly alike, but the mother is sure that one of them isn't really her kid. Can you spot which one? It's the second girl. Look closely. She has 3 hands. She must be an extraterrestrial. The creatures then promise that her real daughter is safe, and it shows a letter that supposedly came from her. It says, "I'm with Robgin." The mother looks closely and confirms it's her daughter's handwriting, but has no idea what it means. Can you figure it out? Robgin isn't a name at all. It's a secret code. Read it backwards, and you get neighbor. So the girl is just next door. Noah is quite sure that his wife is cheating on him, so he asks Ryan for help. Noah explains that he was away for a whole week, and he suspects his wife went on a secret date during that time. Ryan goes to their house, and Mary says, "That's a lie, I didn't leave home, not even once." They check the security cameras, and now Ryan is certain she is cheating. But how? Mary told the truth. She didn't leave, but her lover came over. Look at camera 3. You can see one of his legs sticking out of the door. Suddenly, the lover storms into the house, grabs Mary, and drags her away. Then he sets the place on fire. Now Noah and Ryan are trapped. The flames are spreading fast and they need to escape. They spot 3 things that could help: a vase, a key ring, and a bucket of water. But which one should they choose? Let's see. There are too many keys here, and they don't have time to test them all. That's barely any water, and the fire is already out of control. So they must pick the vase, because it's heavy enough to smash the window and get out. The lover agrees to turn himself in, but there's a catch. Ryan has to figure out which of the 4 houses he's hiding in. The clue says, "I'm an odd number. Take away 1 letter, and I become even. What number am I?" The answer is 7. That means the lover must be in the last house. Busted! Ryan then gets a call from Mr. Johnson, who's in a panic. He says, "My basement is completely flooded. Help!" Ryan rushes to the scene. The floor is covered in water, and everything looks soaked. But something feels off. He suspects Mr. Johnson is lying to get insurance money. How did Ryan know? Look at the pipes on the ceiling. There's no water coming from them and no sign of leaks. The only explanation is that Mr. Johnson poured the water there himself. A doctor calls Ryan for help. A patient needs an emergency blood transfusion and there's no time for tests. Suddenly, a woman rushes in and says, "He's my husband. His blood type is O negative. Please hurry." But the doctor suspects she's lying. Why? She says the patient is her husband, but take a closer look at the nails. They're painted. That means the patient is a woman, not the husband. So, what else might she be lying about? Just then, Ryan hears screams from the hospital cafeteria. A man suddenly collapses into his food. Someone clearly tried to poison him, and there are two main suspects nearby. So, who did it? It looks like the woman did it. There's a strange red liquid on her plate, and it seems dangerous. In the surgery room, a doctor is getting ready to perform a high-risk operation. He picks up the tools, turns to the nurse, and says, "Scalpel, please." At that moment, Ryan bursts through the door and yells for them to stop immediately. But why? Look closely at this guy. His stethoscope is on backwards. He's not a real doctor. Ryan's newest client received a mysterious gift. But first, she wants to know who sent it. Clara isn't sure if it came from her boyfriend Bob, her brother Leo, or her father Daniel. Can you figure it out? It was from her brother. Look closely. The package has a bunch of 7s written on it, but they're actually upside down. They form the letter L, which stands for Leo. Before Clara opens the gift, she notices a clue about what's inside. The note says, "If you drop me, I'm sure to crack. Give me a smile and I'll always smile back." Do you know what it is? Time's up. It's a mirror. Next, Ryan heads to a crime scene. A rich man is lying dead on the floor. He questions the butler, who says, "I was outside on the street when it happened. It was raining and his clothes were soaking wet, but when the police arrived, they arrested him immediately." Why? Because his clothes were wet, but his umbrella was completely dry. He probably faked the alibi. Ryan visits a museum. In one of the rooms, he spots 3 ancient pieces, but something catches his eye, and he's sure one of them is fake. Which one is it? Oh, look closely. What's a Japanese letter doing on this vase? It can't be from ancient Egypt. So this one is definitely fake. The detective is starving, so he stops to grab a hot dog. Each one costs $3. Ryan notices that the vendor makes 10 hot dogs in 5 minutes. At that rate, how much money does the vendor make in 30 minutes if he sells them all? Let's see. In 5 minutes, the vendor makes 10 hot dogs and sells them for $30. That means in 30 minutes, he makes $180. Not bad. Ryan wants to end the day with something sweet, but he wants you to guess his craving. Here's the clue. What's pink, goes in hard and dry, and comes out soft and wet? If you answered bubblegum, you got it right. So, how sharp were your detective skills today? Count how many mysteries you solved and let us know in the comments. And don't forget to challenge your friends. Let's see who's the ultimate detective. 3 tourists entered an ancient pyramid and found a chamber with an inscription. What does not honor the pharaoh shall remain here forever. They saw 3 buttons with the following symbols: the sun, a scarab, and an ankh. There was also a warning that only one button opens the passage, and the others trigger dangerous traps. One of the tourists immediately pressed the correct button. Which button was it, and why did they choose it? It was the ankh. In ancient Egypt, it symbolized life, so it's the most logical choice. A golden amulet went missing during an excavation. Anna claimed she spent the day photographing wall paintings. Jack said he'd been studying the treasure map inside the tent. And Lena said she had been sketching outdoors. But the tracks in the sand led from the tent to the pyramid and back, and those were deep, narrow footprints with small heels. Do you know who took the amulet? It was Lena. She was the only one outside, and the small-heeled footprints point to her. An archaeologist descended into a lost Mayan pyramid and discovered 3 ancient masks. Which mask should he choose to find the treasure and stay alive? He should pick the jade mask with the symbols of the storm god. The Mayans trusted him with their gold and secrets. As for the rest of the masks, the golden snake is a symbol of the underworld, and it can lure one to their demise. And the jaguar is associated with aggression and night hunting, so it can lead Nathan to danger. 3 archaeologists, Dr. Laura, Mr. Thomas, and Professor Blake, are exploring a lost Mayan temple. They discover 3 stone tablets with mysterious symbols and inscriptions. Dr. Laura chooses the mirror-shaped symbol. Mr. Thomas touches the carved serpent's eye. Professor Blake steps onto the stone with a crescent moon. Who is in danger? Professor Blake. He stepped on the moon symbol, which warns he won't return. Mr. Thomas awakens the curse, and only Dr. Laura chooses wisely. She unlocks the path to the treasure. Jack finds an ancient Mayan scroll with an engraved message. Where the sun bids farewell to the day, where the river coils like a snake, where moss always hides in the shade, there the pyramid's peak is hidden from view. Jack stands by the river with a dense forest in the north, rocky cliffs and the blazing sun in the south, a clear path in the east, and a river surrounded by trees in the west. Where should Jack go? West. That's where the sun bids farewell, or sets. The river curves like a snake, and the trees provide shade. Alex arrives at a remote jungle village, hoping to find the lost ruins of an ancient Mayan city. 3 people offer to guide him. A pretty woman wants $500. An old man with a donkey wants $50. A cheerful guy in a Hawaiian shirt promises to guide Alex for $300. Only one of these people is a true guide. Can you tell who? The real guide is the old man with the donkey. He asks for a reasonable price. He's not flashy or pushy, and he has a map and a means of transportation. Justin was an archaeologist who explored ancient pyramids. One day, something went wrong, and he ended up locked in a tiny room deep underground. There was only one other door in the room, but it was locked. To open it, the guy had to solve a riddle. After mulling it over for some time, Justin guessed what it meant. Can you? The answer is, try to understand. Once, something went wrong. Yep, again. And he got locked in a tiny room. To open the door, the guy had to solve a riddle and enter the correct 4-digit code. What code should Justin enter? Each digit of the code is the number of letters in the alphabet that stand between the letters in the riddle. So, the code is 5139. There are 3 doors in front of you, with snakes, scorpions, and scarabs behind each of them respectively. You need to choose the safest one. Hopefully you know that scarabs are harmless, so you should pick the 3rd door. One day, Julia fell asleep in the park. She woke up in a strange room with 3 doors. There were random objects lying around: bricks, empty bottles, ropes, and even a barrel. There was also a note on the wall. Behind one of these doors, there's a staircase that leads to freedom. You don't want to know what's lurking behind the other 2 doors. Julia got really frightened, but she managed to get out soon. What did she do? She dragged the barrel toward each of the doors, climbed on it, and checked whether the staircase was there. Once she spotted it, she was free. Look at these people attentively. Who do you think is in greater danger? The lion won't necessarily attack the man, of course, if he doesn't provoke the animal. If the guy tries his best to look unthreatening, the lion might simply ignore him. But the snake can easily tighten its grip, which can end very badly for this girl. Mr. Smart's wife went missing. A detective came to investigate this case. Mr. Smart told her that the last time he'd seen his wife had been in the morning. She was having breakfast. When he returned home at 6 p.m., her breakfast was still on the table, but she had disappeared. After hearing the man's story, the detective immediately arrested Mr. Smart. Why did he do so? When the detective arrived at the Smart's house, the breakfast on the table was still steaming. This means Mr. Smart had set up the scene right before he called the police. Do you see anything suspicious in this room? I'll help you. One object is haunted. A small hint: pay attention to those balloons left after a small party. Have you noticed that the red balloon has a pin in it? But strangely, even pierced, the balloon remains intact, and the air is still inside. It must be the haunted object. Look at these elderly ladies. Both of them have gone out for a walk. At first glance, they seem totally normal, but one of them is actually planning something bad. Can you figure out which granny it is? It's the granny on the right. She's got a file hidden in her knitting basket. A renowned chemist disappeared right from his lab. There was no evidence except a piece of paper lying on his desk. It had the names of 5 elements: nickel, carbon, oxygen, lanthanum, and sulfur. The guard reported that 3 people had visited the chemist that day: his sister Laura, his colleague Nicholas, and his wife Tessa. The criminal was arrested immediately. Who was it? The list of chemicals is a clue. Their abbreviations spell out the name Nicholas.
Hey Riddle lovers, ready to take your brain for a marathon? Well then, let's go. 2 friends meet in the street. Ben says he's heading to house number 23. Jeremy says he's going to visit his friend who lives in house number 7. Can you tell which one is Ben and which one is Jeremy? Ben is the one wearing the cap. Look closely at the house number. It's 19. If you walk from the beginning of the street, odd number houses are on the left side. The guy in the cap is walking in the direction of large numbers, so he must be Ben. In the evening, a woman said, "My cat has disappeared." The window was closed, the door was locked. No signs, no sounds. Where did the cat go if the house was completely closed? The cat never really left. It crawled into a slightly open drawer of the dresser and fell asleep there. The woman didn't check it, but no one can trick you. A tiny tip of the cat's tail is sticking out. And while we're on the topic of pets, here's a fashion dilemma. If dogs wore pants, would they wear them like this or like this? The more accurate version would be the one on the right, on the hind legs, just like humans. That's because pants are clothing for the lower part of the body, and in dogs, that means the hind legs. The front legs are more like arms than legs. You're in your cabin. You travel exactly 100 miles south. Then you see a bear. You travel exactly 100 miles east, and the bear runs away. You travel exactly 100 miles north, returning to your cabin. What color is the bear? The bear has to be white. This riddle only makes sense if your cabin is at the North Pole. Going 100 miles south, then 100 miles east, which doesn't change your latitude much at the pole, and then 100 miles north brings you back to the original position. 3 friends are taking part in a high-fashion photo shoot, and each of them has carefully picked her outfit. But one of them is hiding a secret. She's pregnant. Can you figure out who's expecting just by spotting one little detail? Must be the girl in the middle, the one wearing the pink heels with rhinestones. If you look closely, her right shoe is buckled on the last hole as if her foot has slightly swollen. Also, platform shoes offer more stability than stilettos. She must be trying to stay stylish while concealing her pregnancy. John has a small shop that sells socks. One day, he decided to attract more people and launched an advertisement. Socks for free. Many people came there, but all the customers had to pay, even though the socks were free. Why? John would only give the left sock to his customers. The socks were good and people wanted to buy the second one. Who needs only one sock after all? Kelly works as a barista. This morning she dropped a cup full of coffee. Luckily, her white shirt wasn't stained, but it took a while to clean up the mess. How come? I never told you the coffee was liquid. There were coffee beans in the cup. They ended up right under the counter. Phil Adams, who didn't really like modern art, rushed into the city gallery and caused millions of dollars worth of damage to several paintings. Yet the manager of the gallery thanked Mr. Adams for what he did to them. How come? Phil was a firefighter. The water from his hose damaged several masterpieces, but he still managed to extinguish the fire and save many more exhibits. Angie put a coin into an empty bottle and plugged it tightly with a cork. Then she told her friend she'd take out the coin without breaking the bottle or taking out the cork. And she did it. Can you guess how? Angie just pushed the cork into the bottle and then shook it to make the coin fall out. Easy peasy. Mike was about to fail his exam, but the kind professor gave him one last chance. The guy had to arrange 4 9s to make them equal 100. He could use any math symbols. How can he do it? Mike activated all of his math skills and some common sense to figure out the answer. Lena and Tina are best friends, but recently they had a huge scandal. Lena is trying everything to make Tina forgive her. She sends her a strange coded message. What did Lena try to say? She wanted to say forgive in this unusual way. Doesn't look convincing enough to me. A dangerous criminal escaped and is headed to the airport to leave the country. The security knows he'll try to use a fake ID, so they check everyone thoroughly and find 3 main suspects. Can you guess which passport is fake out of these 3? Different countries have different rules, but I'm sure no one would let their citizens use a selfie with someone else's hand on their shoulder as a passport photo. So Jin Beam must have just made this fake passport. Mr. Focus often offers other people adventurous bets. This time, he said he could throw a ball and it would come back to him every time. He also said there would be no obstacle or wall that the ball could ricochet from. Other people think it's impossible and lose the bet. So what's the deal here? Mr. Focus throws the ball straight up. It obviously comes back to him every time. Nancy is taking part in a TV quiz where she can win 1 pound of pure gold. At the end of the show, the host brings her 3 large jars. Each of them has 1 pound of pure gold inside, but also some unpleasant surprises. The first jar has venomous spiders inside, the second one is full of acid, and the third one is filled with boiling hot water. Nancy can only use her hands to get the gold out, and she has 30 minutes to finish. Can you help her? She should choose the jar with hot water. It's gonna get almost lukewarm in half an hour. Michael is trapped in a room. It's slowly filling with water that's coming from a tap in the wall. There are no windows in the room and the door is blocked. Michael has a mop and a big bucket. What can he do to survive? Well, the only thing the guy needs to do is to turn off the tap to keep the water from coming. Sally invited all her friends to her favorite restaurant to celebrate her birthday. She got her dream present, a ring with a huge diamond. Suddenly, the room plunged into darkness. After several minutes of total confusion, the lights came back on, but Megan's ring was gone. Look at the picture to try to figure out who stole it. It was the waiter. Look at the glass he's holding. He put the ring inside, and now there's much more water in it. A group of students went to visit an art gallery that has paintings from famous artists from different countries. Half an hour into the excursion, an alarm went on as one of the students was trying to damage one of the paintings. Since they all have uniforms, it's impossible to tell who exactly just from the CCTV footage. 3 possible suspects all have their excuses. Ashley said, "I love the painting so much I texted my mom about it. Why would I damage it?" Dawn said, "I didn't stay long in that room as I wanted to see the ancient mammal bones." Steve said, "Professor, I was just following you." One of these students is lying, but who? Dawn is lying, as there can be no mammal bones in an art gallery with paintings. How many of these mind-twisting riddles did you manage to solve? Feel free to share in the comments below.
Now, this is a picture on the door of a restroom in a restaurant. What does this thing mean? Can you guess? It translates as "ladies first." In one of these school restroom stalls, a fugitive who escaped custody and disguised herself to blend in is hiding. But she's made some crucial mistakes. Can you figure out which one is the criminal, left or right? The criminal is in the right stall. At first glance, the person inside looks like your typical good girl. But if you take a closer look, you'll notice that there's no toilet paper inside the stall and the floor under her feet is spotlessly clean. It's almost like the scene has been staged. And most importantly, she has marks on her ankles from handcuffs. That's what gives her away. At 3 a.m., security cameras caught a person disguised as a patient walking out of a private clinic. There are 3 suspects: a man in a robe and sneakers, an elderly woman in pajamas and boots, and a woman with a head bandage wearing slippers. One of them is an escaped criminal. Can you figure out which one it is? It's the woman with the head bandage. Her bandage is clean and freshly wrapped, which probably means she put it on herself. Plus, who walks on asphalt in slippers unless they're trying to look like a patient? The morning surveillance footage shows 3 people entering the antique hall: a girl in a long green coat, a man wearing a t-shirt labeled security, and a guy with a camera. 1 minute later, the alarm goes off. Someone has stolen an ancient vase. Who is the thief? It's the guy with the camera. He's carrying a large camera bag too, which means the vase could easily be hidden inside. Besides, who else carries a camera like that in a museum? Someone tried to sabotage a restaurant's rating and replaced a regular dish with a spoiled one. The owner reviewed the security footage and saw that 3 people had entered the kitchen. They were a bartender wearing an apron, a chef with a tall white hat, and a waiter carrying a tray. One of them didn't even work at the restaurant. Can you spot the imposter? It's the bartender. His apron doesn't have the restaurant's logo, which means he brought it from somewhere else. He must be a rival, trying to ruin the restaurant's reputation and bring down its rating. At a scenic viewpoint, 3 people are standing: a girl with a map, a guy with a camera, and a man in a suit and dress shoes. Which of them is suspicious? The answer is quite obvious. The man in the suit looks suspicious. No real tourist hikes up hills in shiny leather shoes. He's clearly there for another reason. Ooh, suspicious. At a party in an elite gallery, famous actor James Bean suddenly felt unwell. Security footage shows 3 guests offering him drinks. The question is, who slipped him the poison? It's the woman in red. She's the only one holding the glass with her left hand, which means she could have secretly slipped poison from a locket ring on her right. Otherwise, why would she wear such a large ring on her pinky? Cheryl was reading a book, but she was careless and accidentally tore out pages 7, 8, 100, 101, 333, and 334. How many pages will she have to fix? Just 4. 7 and 8, as well as 33 and 34, are just different sides of one page. Sarah was invited to a party organized by her friend Sean. Sarah was worried there might be a thief at this party. Throughout the event, she was watching the guests attentively. At the end of the party, she realized who the thief was. Have you figured it out too? It's the host, Sean. At the beginning of the party, one of his guests had a watch on his wrist, and this woman had a beautiful necklace. But at the end of the party, the watch is already on Sean's wrist, and the necklace is in that flower pot. See? Airport security guards are checking the luggage of 3 suspicious passengers. One of them is a robber on the run. Can you help the guards figure out which passenger is a criminal? The clown costume looks pretty innocent. It doesn't have a mask that covered the face, so it's unlikely that the person owning this suitcase is a robber. The lady shows her cash freely and openly, which probably means the money is legal. But this lady with an empty suitcase is pretty suspicious. Her suitcase probably has a double bottom, and she must be hiding something inside. Otherwise, why would she travel with an empty bag? You're checking in at a hotel, and the receptionist gives you a note. There are just 3 letters there, F, B, D. Can you figure out what your room number is? It's room 624. F is the 6th letter of the alphabet, B is the 2nd, and D is the 4th. While walking on a beach, Patricia found a watch in the sand. There were only 3 other people around. Look at them carefully and try to figure out who the watch belongs to. This guy's watch is in his jeans pocket. The strap is peeking out. The tan line on this girl's wrist doesn't match the shape of the watch. It means the watch belongs to this elderly man. You need to get out of a creepy house. There are lots of doors in front of you. They're numbered from 1 to 22. To choose the right door, you need to figure out the next number in this sequence. Can you do it? The right answer is 20. All these numbers are the only ones that don't have any other vowels but E. So you should open the door with the number 20 written on it. Brandon was patrolling the streets. While driving past his friend's house, he saw the front door open. Inside, he found his friend on the floor. After he was taken to a hospital, the officer went to question the neighbors. Julie said that she had been planting trees in her garden since early morning. Nathan explained that he had some problems with his car and had been in the garage all day long. And Patrick said that he had been watching a new episode of his favorite TV show. Which neighbor is lying? Nathan is. His hands and gloves are spotless. That wouldn't be possible if he had indeed been repairing his car. Someone stole a bag from an elderly lady walking in the park. The police have 3 suspects. John claims it isn't him because he's been busy jumping on a trampoline. Laura says she's been drinking fresh juice at the cafe. And Patrick says he's been selling ice cream. Can you understand who the thief is? It's John. His alibi is fake. The guy wouldn't have been allowed to get on the trampoline because of the age limit. See that note? Jonathan's friend went to explore a mysterious castle and got lost, so the man decided to sneak in and find him. He ended up in a large room with 3 doors. One of these doors led to a labyrinth. Another door was the exit. But if Jonathan went through it, he'd have to cross 3 moats to get out. And behind one of the doors was Jonathan's friend. Can you figure out which door Jonathan needs? The door handles are made of some shiny metal, and the only door with fingerprints is the one on the left. That's where Jonathan's friend is. A man was discovered unconscious at his desk, alone in the locked office. He was rushed to a hospital, and the police started investigating this case. The only clue was a sealed envelope on the man's desk. Have you figured out what happened? The envelope glue was poisoned, and when the man licked the envelope to seal it, he got sick. 3 women are sharing a table at a fancy gala, but one of them is secretly on the run from the police. Can you look at the picture and find the imposter? The first woman, dressed in red, is holding a glamorous clutch bag and elegant earrings. The second is using designer high heels and a very expensive-looking necklace. The third one looks pretty in pink, but hey, look at her right ankle. There's a clear tan line around her ankle that kind of gives away the ankle monitor she had on until recently. She's on the run for sure. Bex recently got engaged. To celebrate, she gifted her fiancé with tickets to a famous pop star's concert. Since they work on opposite sides of town, they decided to meet directly at the venue. Take a look at that crowd dancing in the VIP area. Can you figure out who Bex's fiancé is? It's that blonde guy in the middle. He and Bex have got matching tattoos. He's the one. Maeve quit her job and decided to travel the world. Her first destination was Paris. She just arrived and looked for the first hostel she could find. But, she really shouldn't go inside this place. Take a look at the image. Can you figure out why? This hostel is haunted. There's the shadow of a ghost on the top window. I definitely wouldn't go in. Sarah was invited for brunch with her new colleagues from work. She recently started working at a tech company. She arrived at the restaurant but didn't see any of her colleagues. Instead, she saw a weird-looking robot. How could she tell that it was really a robot? I know it looks like a person, but hey, look at its wrists. It has USB ports on both of them. Inside a high-security prison, 3 men were eager to escape. The first one was trying to break the cell bars. The second was working out every day to get strong. The last one was quietly reading a book. Can you tell which one might have a chance at escaping? It's the one reading a book. He knows that none of the other prisoners are going to make it. By reading books, he might get an answer on how to escape. A doctor rushed into the emergency room and saw that there were 2 patients waiting for urgent treatment. The man on the left was a tech billionaire, and the lady on the right was a grandmother to 5 children. He needed to think fast who he would save. Who should he choose? He should choose the grandmother. The man on the left has a phone next to him. He could call someone else for help. A thief broke into a renowned artist's studio and stole a rare painting. He didn't manage to get too far, though, because a security patrol passed by while he was escaping. The thief stashed the painting under a thick bush and hid behind a nearby wall. Take a look at the picture. Which of these two guys stole the painting? If you crawl through a bush with bare arms, they'll most likely get scratched. Take a look at that second guy's arms. They're covered in scratches. He must be the culprit. Ava got into a serious accident during the weekend. She got a concussion and broke her leg. Still, the very next day, one of her friends saw her riding a bicycle in the park and she looked fine. How is that possible? Look, the girl who got into a car accident has a tattoo on her ankle. The girl on the bike doesn't. The girl who was riding the bike was Ava's twin sister, Malva. Ben and Paula were watching the Riddle channel at home. They got into a heated discussion about who would survive such a dangerous prank. Take a look at the image. Who do you think has the biggest chance at survival? It's the lady trapped with the snakes. I know it sounds dangerous, but the snakes are small and not poisonous. These are Julia and Jane. They are both very attractive young women who have no trouble finding boyfriends. Today is Valentine's Day, and they're both going out with their loved ones. One of them is currently dating 3 people, though, so she's probably going to run from date to date. Just by looking at this image, can you tell which one it is? It's Jane, the one on the left. If you look at her workstation, she's got 3 presents lined up, one for each person she's currently seeing. Anna and Barbara are cleaners at a fancy hotel. The hotel manager received a call saying that one of them had stolen precious jewelry from one of the guests. Take a look at the image. Can you figure out who did it? It was Anna. If you look closely, there's a shiny diamond inside that cleaning bucket. Uh-oh. Olivia was running a marathon. Right before the finish line, she did her best and outran the person who was running in second place. The woman was happy and excited she was going to win. But in a few seconds, she was very disappointed. Why? Because Olivia finished in second place when she wanted to finish first. This is what happened. She was fast enough to outrun the person who was going to win second place. But she wasn't fast enough to outrun the person who finished first. But hey, it's a good result anyway. Lila got an invitation to join a pop-up riddle show. She was excited to win, but when the host asked her the question, she froze. He asked her how many numbers were on a clock. Can you help her figure it out? The real answer here is 15. Here's the trick. Numbers like 10, 11, and 12 are made up of smaller digits. If you count clockwise, you actually have these digits: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 0, 1, 1, and 1, 2. Add them all up, and you've got 15. A car crashed into a restaurant window and drove straight inside. The owner was horrified and called the cops to investigate. There are 2 main suspects, Julia and Bernard. Each of them claims it was the other person who is the culprit. Take a look at the image. Can you figure out who is lying? It's Julia. If you pay attention to the tire tracks, you'll see that they're the same pattern as Julia's tires. She's the one who did it. Dan enrolled in a photography class. For his latest assignment, he needed to take a landscape picture and present it to the class. But Dan didn't have time to do the assignment, so he decided to Photoshop an image and show it in class. The teacher and students immediately saw that the picture wasn't real. How could they tell? Well, because the image has two suns. That's not natural, at least not on planet Earth. Carly and her boyfriend traveled to Chicago for the first time ever. They spent the entire day sightseeing and decided to stop for a while on a park bench to rest. Take a look at the picture. Who is Carly's boyfriend? It's the guy on the left. He's wearing the same t-shirt she's wearing. During the office's end-of-year party, Heather and Tim kissed under the mistletoe, and it became the talk of the company. The next month, everyone was still talking about it near the coffee machine. Take a look at the image and try to guess which two people kissed under the mistletoe. I bet those eagle eyes spotted that two of them were wearing a similar pendant. On the left, you can see Tim, the guy with half of a heart-shaped necklace. And then on the right, Heather is the girl wearing a bracelet with the same pendant. Aww. Let's get our brains warmed up with 3 quick math questions. So tell me, what's the answer to this equation? The result is 20. How about this one? -8. Well done. I can guarantee you that the equation below is correct. But how? Well, it's just upside down. If you flip it, it becomes 16 equals 8 plus 8. And that's totally correct. Well, the warm-up is done. Now let's get to the real challenges. Ella shot 12 arrows at a target. She hit the center 3 times. She's pretty good. One time she almost missed, but it still counted as a hit. All the other shots were misses. So, how many points did she score in total? Hitting the center gives her 3 points. She hit it 3 times, so that's 9 points. That one shot where she almost missed landed in the blue zone. That's 1 more point. So in total, she scored 10 points. Next one. What should you add to 55,555 to get 500? Well, you should add a minus sign right here. Pay close attention to this image. Can you guess the number of the parking spots that these cars are in? Look at the first few numbers. 2, 3, 5. We're dealing with prime numbers here, right? If we keep the sequence going, it means that the red car is in spot 7, the green car is in 11, and the yellow car is parked in 17. Now, you're only allowed to use times and minus signs. Where would you put them to make this equation work? The answer is 9 times 8 minus 7 minus 65, and boom, you get 0. That's a similar one, but this time you're only allowed to use division and addition signs. Where would you put them to make this equation work? And the solution is 4 plus 4 plus 8 divided by 4 equals 10. Ben knows that there are some squirrels hidden in his yard. Each squirrel gathers 6 acorns every day. there's a pile with more than 50 acorns in it. At least how many squirrels must be hidden in his yard? If each squirrel gathers 6 acorns, then 8 squirrels would gather 48. That's not enough. But 9 squirrels would gather 54 acorns, so there must be at least 9 squirrels around him. Now check out this equation. If watermelons are worth 0 and oranges are worth 1, what's the result? If you swap the fruits for numbers, you get 1 plus 1 times 0 plus 1. And since multiplication comes first, that gives you a total of 2. A factory makes a $20 profit for each t-shirt it produces and sells. So how many t-shirts do they need to sell to make $5,000 in profit? Yep, they need to sell 250 t-shirts. Now check out these numbers: 2, 3, 10, 12. Can you figure out the next one? Well, it's really not about calculations. It has to do with the first letter of each number. They all start with the letter T. So, following this sequence, the next number is 13. Alright, time to play true or false. First sentence. The fractions 3/4 is the same as 75%. Is it true or false? True! Nailed it! Next up. Any number raised to the power of 0 equals 0. What do you think? True or false? And that's false. Any number to the power of 0 is actually 1, not 0. One more. Ready? 30% of 50 is the same as 50% of 30. Is this sentence true or false? They both equal 15, so yep, this sentence is true. There are 2 kittens, and some weights are sitting on a scale. The scale is perfectly balanced. So, how much does one kitten weigh? On the left side, we've got 3 weights: 4, 5, and 4. Add them up, that's 13 units. On the right side, there are 2 kittens and a weight of 5. If the total is 13, then the 2 kittens together must weigh 8. So each kitten weighs 4 units. Are you fast at math? Then tell me, what is the last number that will appear at the end of this path? The last number is 6. Jennifer wants to snoop through her boyfriend's phone. He agreed, but only if she manages to guess the password. And the clue is MCMXCII. Can you help Jennifer figure out his 4-digit code? Well, we're talking Roman numerals here, and MCMXCII is the same as 1992. Phone unlocked. Can you tell which number doesn't belong here? The number 7 is the only odd one. And how about this table? What's the strange number? "21 is the odd one out. It's not a multiple of 4. 3 bananas are on a table. A regular banana costs 2 coins. A Minecraft banana costs 1 coin more than the regular banana. A diamond banana costs twice as much as the Minecraft banana. So, which banana is the most expensive and how much does each one cost? The most expensive one is the diamond banana. If the regular one costs 2 coins, that means the Minecraft banana costs 3 coins and the diamond banana costs 6. Kevin was 31 when his daughter Amanda turned 8. Now he is twice as old as she is. How old is Amanda? If her father is twice as old as her, Amanda must be 23. Dan is a translator, and he gets paid based on the number of words in the original text. He makes $3 per word. So how much will he get for the following translation? Remember, the number of words in Portuguese doesn't matter. Only the original English word count is used to calculate payment. If he earns $3 per word, he's going to make $24. Now, if we multiply the number of tails that every cat in the world has, what is the result? Time's up. The answer is 0, because at least one cat in the world doesn't have a tail. Lisa and David have $100 in total, and we know Lisa has $40 more than David. So, how much does each have? David has $30 and Lisa has $70. Take a good look at this puzzle. Can you figure out the value of the blue gift box? Well, let's see. If 3 green gifts cost 30 coins, that means each one is worth 10. So the red box must be worth 20. Following that logic, the 2 blue gifts together cost $10, so each one is worth 5. A swimming pool gets filled in 4 hours using 2 hoses. What if you only have 1 hose? How long will it take to fill the same pool? Think about it like this. 2 hoses together do the job in 4 hours. So each hose is doing half the work, right? If you use just 1 hose, it's going to take twice as long. So the answer is 8 hours. Frank only has 3 socks, 1 red, 1 blue, and 1 green. He reaches into a dark drawer and grabs 2. What are the chances they match? Zero. Frank has only 1 of each color, remember? A teacher has 3 kids, William, Karen, and Linda. William is 2 years old. Karen is 3 times William's age, and Linda is half of Karen's age. Can you guess how old the 2 girls are? Karen is 6 and Linda is 3. A snail climbs 3 feet during the day and slides down 2 feet at night. How many days will it take to escape a 10-foot wall? Let's see. Each day, the snail gains 1 foot. After 7 days, it's at 7 feet. On the 8th day, it climbs from 7 to 10 feet and escapes before sliding. So the answer is 8 days. A motorcyclist was riding into the city. On the way, he passed 5 cars and a truck coming towards him. How many vehicles were going to the city? Only 1. The motorcyclist was the only one going to the city. You ordered a pizza for dinner for 8 people. How many times do you need to cut the pizza to get 8 slices? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have 8 slices. All right, dig in. Sometimes, solving a riddle isn't just a fun brain exercise. It could save someone else's life. Let's see if you can make it. It's summertime and everyone's at the beach. But for one of these girls, The dream vacation could end in a tragedy. Can you tell who's in danger here? Although the second girl looks well equipped and prepared for anything, she's in dark water that could be dangerous. The first girl is in the shallow right next to the beach, so she can just run away or ask for help in case of danger. Okay, this time two guys are on vacation. They have completely different ideas of fun, so one is mountain skiing and the other one prefers surfing. Again, one of them is in real danger. Can you guess who? Well, that wave looks huge and scary, but it shouldn't be a problem for an experienced surfer. Meanwhile, screaming loudly in the mountains isn't the best idea though. It could start an avalanche. So the skiing guys should watch out. Leslie and Sam also have completely different ideas of fun. So Leslie is enjoying a beach day and Sam is exploring the forest. Which of the girls could be risking her life this very second? Now, unless a huge tsunami suddenly rolls in, Leslie is perfectly safe. Sam, on the other hand, has ignored the "Danger, do not enter" sign. Who knows what those plants could do to her? Ashley and Dana are having a spa day. Each of them orders drinks to relax even more after a long massage. But, oh no, one of them is about to get more than drinks, and it's not good. Who's in danger here? Ashley should be perfectly fine. The water is cold and the tray looks pretty stable. But Dana is about to get a hot tea shower on her uncovered back. And there's one more suspicious detail: an open tiny bottle with acids. Uh-oh. Tina and Scarlett want to go on a hot air balloon ride. The instructor offers to let them choose the balloon: a blue one, a green one, or a red one. Tina picks her favorite color, red, and Julie wants to go for the green one. Which of the girls is in danger? The color isn't that important when it comes to a hot air balloon. There are no sandbags in the red one, so Tina is about to risk her life. Hey, math fans! If you're tired of saving lives, this one's for you. How does a 9 become a 6 by adding one letter? Well, I tricked you. It's more about thinking outside the box than math. Put a letter S in front of the Roman numeral 9 and you'll get 6. See? Here comes another one. I add 5 to 9 and get 2. No mistake here, but what am I? If you add 9 days to 5 days, hey, you'll get 2 weeks. Ricky found money, a phone, and salted fish. But out of all this, he grabbed the salted fish and ran away. Strange choice. Can you guess what made him choose the fish? Well, Ricky is a cat and can't appreciate money or phones. Alright, cats are cute, but this one is about monkeys. In which month do they prefer to play baseball? Don't even try to find some logic here. It's all in the word itself. It's April, or more like April. Get it? Willie and Billy are twins, and they have the same tastes and like the same things. There's only one thing they don't share, and it's love for cats. By looking at their houses, can you guess which one of them loves cats? Willie has cat toys casually spread on the floor, and the wallpaper at his house is scratched at the bottom of the wall. So he's the cat lover. Lady Martha has a special talent. When people approach her at the fair one by one, she tells each of them something different. She tells the man pizza, the little girl, ice cream, and the woman, salmon bowl. What is Lady Martha's talent? She can see what other people have just eaten. That's one rare and weird special talent, I must say. Unless they're sloppy and spilled food on their shirts, like I do, then it's easy. All colleagues are bragging about their fun summer vacations. They all show photos and share stories. But one of them is obviously lying about their adventures. Can you guess who? Well, this guy definitely didn't visit Paris this summer. In his photo, the Eiffel Tower is in the middle of the desert, and it's actually in the center of Paris. You've got really bad Photoshop skills, my friend. Brittany checks into a hotel room and falls onto the bed. But suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and a group of clowns with dog balloons breaks in and makes her dance for them. When she sits on the bed, she sighs in relief. What just happened there? It's already light outside, and it was dark when Brittany was checking in. So all this was just a nightmare, although a very realistic one. It's a busy day at the coffee shop. Lucy, the waitress, comes up to one of the tables to pick up the mugs. Moments later, she's calling the police from the kitchen. Why? The girl at the table left a tiny message on the mug with her lipstick, saying SOS. Looks like her date turned out to be a dangerous person. Mrs. Green has a huge house and several helpers. One day, she calls the police and says one of her staff members must have stolen a large sum of money and her jewelry. The suspects are the gardener, the cook, and the laundry lady. Can you tell who stole the valuables? It must have been the laundry lady or someone who wanted to make it look like she did it. Look, there's money and jewelry inside the washing machine. Douglas is interviewing for his dream job. He's already passed a lot of tests, and now it's time for the final decisive challenge. The interviewer asks him to prove that the pen on the table doesn't exist, and he does it with just one question. But how? He asked the interviewer, "Excuse me, which pen are you talking about?" It's raining so hard that no one can see anything, and all traffic is stuck. Lightning flashes in the black sky, and people are running to safety. Everyone is soaked, but one man is lucky. Not a single hair on his head got wet. How is this possible? Well, the man is bald, so he has no hair on his head. You wake up inside a plane from a super loud engine. You don't remember getting in and don't know what's going on. You get up from your chair and notice there's no one else on the plane. You walk forward, look into the cockpit, and the pilots aren't there either. You decide to leave, open the emergency exit, and jump out of the plane. You land on the asphalt unharmed. How is this possible? Well, the plane wasn't flying anywhere. It was standing on the ground this whole time. Nina is taking exams to study at the most prestigious cooking school in the world. The final question is, what product will never be salty when you boil it, no matter how much salt you add? Please help Nina pass this uneasy exam. Well, it's an egg in the shell. No matter how much salt there is in the water, the boiled egg won't be salty. Someone locked 10 people in one room. A mechanical voice from the outside says that to get out of the room, you have to place an apple in such a way that everyone but one person can see it. Do you have any ideas how to do it? Put the apple on the head of one of the people, and it's done. Stacy loves traveling. Today she's flying to a new destination. There are just 3 flights in the next hour. One to Berlin, another one to Rome, and the third one to London. Can you guess where Stacy is going? She's headed to London. You can see she has a sticker from Berlin and a keychain from Rome on her suitcase, so she has already been to those cities. Wow, if you manage to solve all these riddles, congrats! You can handle any situation with your logic and wits. Katie and Rose live in very similar houses, but one of them clearly needs to move to a safer place for her own good. Can you tell who's in danger here just by looking at their homes? Cleaning cat hair every day isn't that enjoyable, but it's not as dangerous as living with a werewolf. Or whoever scratched that cupboard like that is clearly not a safe neighbor. Minnie is getting married and is choosing a baker to make her wedding cake. Both of these guys clearly excel at what they do, but one of them is definitely dangerous, and Minnie should run for her life. So, which of the bakers should she hire? The first baker's hands and sleeves are covered in something red, and it doesn't look like strawberry jam. Perhaps the previous client left him a really bad review, and that was his way of revenge. Uh-oh. 2 couples are out on a date night. Love is great and all, but one of these dates could end in disaster. Who is in danger here? Now, if you ask me, both of these dates look pretty weird, but the second couple seems to be shopping together. So the girl is just showing that knife to her partner. And the guy in the first picture is clearly hiding that poison, so the girl is at risk. Hey, it's time for a snack, or maybe even a proper lunch. 2 girls are making it, but one of these lunches is definitely not safe to eat. Can you figure out which one? Well, I'm not a big fan of cabbage, but it's surely better than the soup the girl on the right is making. That bag in the back clearly had blood in it, and now there's something red in the pot. I'll skip lunch, I guess. 3 guys are taking part in a TV show where they have to enter rooms with all sorts of dangers waiting inside. One of the dangers is not that horrible, though. So, who got lucky here? The gas and the bees are totally terrible, but the mice, not the most pleasant pastime, but they are more curious than dangerous. So that guy got lucky with them. A couple is choosing the perfect hotel for their summer vacation. They looked at tons of options on a booking website, and they're down to the final 2. One of the hotels looks really unsafe, but which one? Although the second hotel looks more modern and better furnished, there's a creepy reflection in the mirror inside the room. I wouldn't set foot inside that hotel, even if it were for free. Miss Swan wants to open an account at one of the local banks, and she's really concerned with safety. Which of the 2 banks should she choose to have nothing to worry about? She should definitely not trust the bank in the first picture. Their security cameras have "sample not working" signs on them. So anyone who also sees that can just go inside and rob the bank unnoticed. Erica and her friend Mindy are on vacation. They're choosing extreme activities to pump up their adrenaline levels. Erica is looking into a hot air balloon ride, and Mindy wants to try paragliding. Which of them is about to risk her life? Although paragliding looks way scarier to me, they seem to have no problems with their equipment. And that hot air balloon already has several patches on it and looks a bit deflated. Ben told his grandpa he knew a riddle that no one could solve. Grandpa said if he failed, he'd give Ben $10. The riddle is, I'm tall when I'm young, and I'm short when I'm old. What am I? It's a pencil. The more you use it, the shorter it gets. Grandpa couldn't solve the first riddle, but he wanted to win his money back. So Ben suggested that he try his luck with another riddle, which would be even trickier. I'm full of holes, but still hold water. What am I? It's a sponge. And this time, Grandpa solved the riddle and got his $10 back. Yay! Now, let's try a math one for a change. How tall do you think one glass is? It would be logical to divide 34 by 4 to figure out the height, but the glasses are stacked on top of one another, so it won't help. 34 minus 19 is 15, so one glass that's sticking out is 5 centimeters. 19 minus 5 is 14. To celebrate her birthday, Ashley wants to go to the movies. She has 2 friends whom she wants to take with her. A movie ticket costs $12. What is cheaper, going to the movies with each friend separately or with the 2 of them together? Of course, it's cheaper to go with the 2 of them together. If she goes there 2 times, separately with each friend, she'll have to buy a ticket for herself twice. So, she'll end up buying 4 tickets. But if they go together, she'll only have to buy 3 tickets. Mike is going by train to see the love of his life, for now, Louise. The train is 400 feet long. It's moving at a speed of 400 feet a minute, and it's now traveling through a 400-foot-long tunnel. How long will it take for the train to go through the tunnel? When the train goes into the tunnel, it will take exactly 1 minute for its head to reappear on the other side. Once the head of the train is out, the back of the train just entered the tunnel, and it'll need another minute to travel through the tunnel. So the train will need 2 minutes in total. Brittany has a huge vinyl collection, 151 records. But then she needed some cash, so she decided to sell all of her records, except for 3 of her favorite singers and 9 of her favorite bands. How many vinyl records does Brittany have now? If she gave up all but 3 plus 9, it leaves her with 12 records. A fire just broke out in an old mansion full of valuables. There are really expensive and rare paintings in the living room. The library is full of books that are several centuries old. The closet has designer clothes that are worth millions. Which room will the police officers try to extinguish first? None. Policemen don't fight fire. That's the job of firefighters. You didn't fall for that, did you? Good. Sheila lives in an apartment building. She returns home from work, but she can't get inside because someone changed the password for the combination lock on the door. Can you help her get inside? There's a hint on this piece of paper. You need to move all the digits exactly 1 position back, and that's how we get the code 4327. Tiffany wants to order watermelon juice at the new restaurant and asks the waiter if it's fresh. He tells her the chef personally climbed a tree in the morning and picked the best watermelon to make the juice. Tiffany knows he's lying and decided not to order that juice. Why? Well, watermelons don't grow on trees, so the whole story seems made up. Jim moves into his first adult apartment. His parents helped him pay a huge deposit for it on one condition: he would live there alone. When his mom comes to visit him a week later, she looks around and says they want their money back. Why? She must have noticed the second pair of slippers, the second toothbrush, and that bathrobe that says Whitney. Diana is a jewelry designer. She decided to present her summer-themed collection at a private beach party. While everyone was waiting for her to start, one of the guests stole the ring with the biggest gem. Can you guess who did it? We can see footprints on the sand leading to where the ring was. It looks like someone wearing sneakers left them. All the guests but one are wearing heels. So it must be this girl in sneakers.
Hey aspiring detectives, are you ready to look for clues and solve some mysteries? Alright then, let's start. It's a busy day on the highway, and everyone is trying to stay entertained the way they can. These two ladies are no exception, and although both of their activities look pretty risky, only one of them is in real danger. Who is it? Lady A is in danger as she's driving and putting her lipstick on at the same time. Lady B is enjoying her dumplings, but since she's just a passenger, it's not a problem. A couple in love wants to order a wedding cake but can't decide which chef to choose. So, they decide to bring them together and ask them to bake a cake to see who's better. Both cakes seem to be really good, but it looks like one of the chefs is really dangerous. Which chef is it? Oops, Chef B has blood on his sleeve. That can't be a good sign. There are 3 people in the park. 2 of them look pretty freaky to me, but only one is super dangerous and can cause some serious trouble to others. Who is it? Okay, the girl with a bulky stick could be up to some trouble, and the guy looks freaky. But the real danger is this sweet-looking lady with a puppy. She's using this fluffy guy to hide a grenade she's tied around her neck. Secret Agent Jackson's mission brought him to a basement of a creepy building with 3 doors leading out of it. Behind the first door, there's boiling hot lava. Behind the second door, there's a psycho killer dressed as a clown. And behind the third door, the temperature is -50. Which door should the agent choose to escape? Looks like the third door is the right one. You can definitely survive that temperature with the right clothes. 2 divers are doing what they love the most, exploring the underwater world. But oh no, one of them is in extreme danger. Who is it? The diver in the first picture is in real immediate danger. There's a shark behind them and no one to come to the rescue. Yes, there's also a shark behind the second diver, but there's a submarine with other people to rescue this human. Miranda is applying for a really great job and she has to solve several riddles to land the position. Can you help her? The first riddle is, ask this question all day long, but always get completely different answers, and yet all the answers will be correct. What is the question? The question is, what time is it? The second riddle is even more philosophical. What is more useful when it's broken? Alright, nothing philosophical here. It's actually just an egg. You break it to cook it. 2 down, 1 more to go, and Miranda gets the dream job.
A cowboy rode into town on Friday. He stayed for 3 nights and rode out on Friday. How is this possible? No need to do complicated math here. His horse's name is Friday. Someone left an expensive watch at the hotel reception. 3 people claim it's theirs. Can you help the hotel worker figure out whose watch it really is? The First Lady does have a watch tan line, but it's much wider than the lost watch. This man already has a watch on his left hand. Why would he wear another one? The watch must belong to the elderly lady. Lena was skydiving when a strong gust of wind brought her to the forest. She landed among trees with no food or water. Soon she saw 4 roads in front of her. One led to a supermassive black hole that swallowed everything that got close. The second road ended in a sea full of sharks. The third led to a mountain that was impossible to climb over. And the fourth road ended in a bottomless abyss. Which road should Lena take? She should follow the third road. She can just go around that mountain. Bob was walking home late in the evening when he saw a young woman unconscious on the ground. He found her phone and called the first person on her call list, Anna. He said her friend was unconscious and she said she'd be there right away. She arrived before the police, and when they were there, they instantly arrested Anna. Why? Bob didn't tell Anna where to go, yet she arrived really fast. How did she know the address if she hadn't been the one who did it? Jen lost her card holder at the airport check-in stand. She suspects the agents who were checking her in and the cleaner who was nearby. But they both deny everything as they were busy doing their work. So, who took Jen's card holder? No one. Jen must be really nervous before the flight. She didn't notice putting her card holder in the outer pocket of her carry-on backpack. Tom is at a corporate party. His boss brings a bunch of identical envelopes and tells him she personally put a certificate for a trip to Hawaii in one of the envelopes. Tom really wants to go there with his girlfriend. Can you help him identify the right envelope? Look, his boss has plenty of sparkle on her face and hands. And only one envelope has the same sparkles on it. It must be the right one. Brittany is at her cousin's wedding and she's about to make a toast, but she forgets the name of her cousin's husband. She really wants to mention it in her toast. Can you help her out? His name is Derek. See that wedding poster on the far left corner of the room? Sheila and Derek, together forever. Aww. Bet just met a man of her dreams. He's handsome, smart, generous, and he seems to be very in love with her. The only weird thing about him is how he keeps bragging about his house, which is super luxurious. Once Bet agrees to visit. He hesitates, but after a few minutes, says she can come Thursday evening. Once at the house, Bet notices something really weird. What is it? There's a price list for anyone who wants to rent the house, and it's more expensive during the weekend. That's why the man invited her on Thursday. Oops. Mimi wants to get a smoothie at a buffet breakfast. It's in a foreign country, and for some reason, there's no English translation of the list of ingredients and allergens. Mimi can't eat strawberries, so it's important for her to avoid them. Which smoothie is safe for her to drink? This green one definitely doesn't have any strawberries in it. These berries would give it a red or at least a pinkish shade. The pink and purple smoothies could be risky. Someone locked Diego up in a tiny room with only one exit. The door is locked, but he can open it using a code. He doesn't know the code, but there's a little note next to the door that should help him. So, what's the code? There are 4 stars on that little piece of paper. The first one has 3 rays, the second has 6 rays, and the third one 7. And finally, the fourth one has 5 rays. So, the correct code is 3675. Let's warm up with a few quick math questions. Then we'll move on to 5 levels of challenges. Are you ready? What's the result of this equation? It's 13. If you double 25 and subtract 10, what do you get? Correct, 40. What do you get when you multiply 14 by 5? That's 70. Nailed it. Now look at this sequence. Which number is missing here? Easy, 20. What's 4 cubed? That's 4 times 4 times 4, which equals 64. Now that we're warmed up, it's time for the real challenges. Welcome to Level 1, Number Newbie. A princess is trapped in a castle, and only one door will lead to her freedom. There's a clue on the wall. It says, I'm a number between 10 and 20, and the sum of my digits equals 3. Which door should she choose? The correct door is the one marked 12, because 1 plus 2 equals 3. Hurry up, princess! Take a look at this equation. You only need to move one matchstick to make it correct. Any idea how? Take this matchstick and move it right here. And there you have it. 3 minus 2 equals 1. Isabella is at the post office to pick up a package that is shaped like a dodecahedron. So, which one should she grab? Yep, that's the one. Next, a movie theater has 350 seats. Out of those, 175 tickets have been sold. Now tell me, what percentage of the seats are filled? Since half the seats are taken, the theater is exactly 50% full. Can you spot the odd number out? Look closely. It's 67. All the others divide evenly by 7. Okay, get ready, because level 2 is here. Speed Solver. Oh no! Sophia's brother has locked her teddy bear inside a cage, and she can only free it by cracking the code. The clue on the lock says 200 divided by 5 times 8 equals. Can you guess it? The code is 320. Teddy is safe! Next up, form the smallest 3-digit number you can using the digits 1, 2, and 0. You can't start with 0 since it needs to be a proper 3-digit number. So, the smallest number you can make is 102. Now tell me, which of these is the smallest number? The smallest is 21, so the answer is option A. Take a look at this addition pyramid. Follow the arrows and figure out which numbers should fill in the blank spaces. The missing numbers are 3, 5, and 13. Did you get them all right? Time for a matchstick challenge. You need to remove 2 sticks to make 4 equal squares. Can you spot which ones? remove these two right here. And there you have it. Alright, it's time to level up. Welcome to Level 3, Logic Legend. Take a good look at this table. Can you figure out the mystery number? Well, let's see. Each column follows the same pattern. First, we've got 7 times 4 equals 28. Minus 1 gives us 27. Next up, 8 times 5 is 40. Minus 2, that's 38. So if we keep that same logic going, 9 times 6 is 54. Minus 3, and the missing number is 51. Check out these numbers and answer. What parking spot is the car sitting in? Turn the image upside down. Now you'll see it. It's a simple sequence. And the car is parked in spot 87. 3 waiters deliver 3 different meals. Table 1 gets an orange juice and a hamburger. Table 2 gets 2 hamburgers and an ice cream. And Table 3 just ordered a juice and an ice cream. We know the total price of each table's meal. So, how much does each item cost? The hamburger costs $9, the juice is $3, and the ice cream is $16. Yeah, that ice cream better be amazing. What's the result of this equation? Division and multiplication come first, so the result is 65. Observe this sequence. Now answer. What number goes in the green circle? The numbers go up by 25 each time, so the missing number is 300. Are you ready to become a pro? This is Level 4, Math Master. We've got the sequence 2, 5, 10, 17, 26. Can you tell what comes next? Well, the number between the numbers is increasing by 2 each time. Plus 3, plus 5, plus 7, plus 9. So the next jump should be plus 11. That gives us 37. You need to fix this equation by moving just one matchstick. But how? Yep, move that stick. And now it reads 18 plus 1 equals 19. Nice work! Carla is playing tic-tac-toe, but she can only use numbers that are multiples of 6. To win the match, which number will she use? The next move is for the blue player, who's about to place the number 36. So, to win the game, Carla will go with the number 42. That's the answer. We've got 2 mobiles hanging from a scale, and together they weigh 24 pounds. So, based on the balance, can you figure out how much each shape weighs? Each mobile weighs 12 pounds, right? So that means the diamond weighs 2, the clover is 3, the star is 1, and the moon is 4. Mystery solved! You're building a cube using toothpicks for the edges and marshmallows to connect them at the corners. So here's the challenge. How many toothpicks and marshmallows do you need to make one cube? A cube has 12 edges, so you'll need 12 toothpicks. And it has 8 corners. That means 8 marshmallows to hold everything together. Nice and yummy. It's time for Level 5, Ultimate Boss. Only the sharpest minds make it this far. Ready to prove you're one of them? All right. Can you count the number of blocks in this image before time runs out? There's 1 block on top, 3 in the middle, and 5 at the bottom. That makes a total of 9 blocks. How fast did you figure this one out? Pay attention to this table. Can you figure out the missing number? Let's crack the pattern. Take the first digit, multiply it by the second, and then add the third. So for this one, 5 times 2 equals 10, plus 7, that gives us 17. A father notices that if he reverses the digits of his age, he gets his son's age. 9 years ago, the father was twice as old as his son. How old are they now? After doing the math, here's the answer. The father is 63 and the son is 36. This one went viral, and yep, it's way harder than it looks. The internet was totally divided over the answer. Can you solve this? Even though there's a division, we start with the brackets. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Now it becomes 6 divided by 2 times 3. Go left to right. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. And that's the correct answer, 9. Over half the students at Harvard, MIT, and Princeton got this one wrong. Let's see if you can crack it. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? Your intuition must have screamed 10 cents, right? Wrong! If the ball were 10 cents, that would make the bat $1.10, which adds up to $1.20. So the ball actually costs 5 cents, and the bat is $1.05. Okay, deep breath. This is the final challenge. We've got 3 different equations, and each one uses 3 identical digits. Your mission is to make the result equal to 6. And we have 2 rules. Rule number 1, you can only use basic math operations. Rule 2, you can't introduce any new numbers. Ready? Time's up, and here's how it's done. Did you get all of them right? The fun part is that this challenge has more than one solution. Can you figure out the other ones? If so, let us know in the comments.